Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. Objects, I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And I'm coming from you live from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Is that how the locals pronounce it?
Well, you know what? I got a little story. How's that? Let's start off with a story. So,
all right.
Wisconsin has some. Well, you know, you've driven around Wisconsin enough during your trucking years, but
Right.
Wisconsin has some really fucked up city and town names.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a lot like Michigan. A lot of French shit and a lot of Indian shit.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just going to say, there's a lot of Indian heritage in the names, which is, I don't know, kind of weirdish because I mean it's a German heritage in this area too. But either way,
I believe the Indians had it first before the Germans.
No, I know. But I mean, just you figure when the towns came in. I mean, I don't know. I mean, were the towns named because of? I've never really looked into all the history, but I agree that was probably kind of insensitive of me to say that. Well, you know what? Chalk it up to this.
Well, you know, the Germans do like to invade places, so I've heard.
Yeah, that is fucking true. That is true. So, but at least you know it's Cleveland. You know the Irish people invaded that area, right?
Yes,
So
they did.
I'm from the west side of Cleveland, and I'm an alcoholic. No shit, Irish Catholic.
Yep.
So Fond du Lac, pretty simply, it's spelled weird to begin with. It's FOND and then capital DU and then capital LAC. So three separate words, and it's pronounced and just said Fond du Lac. But for years, every once in a while, I would hear, because I mean, Christ, I lived here for 30 plus years, you know, combined, and yeah, people would say Fond du Lac, and it just kind of it popped into my head when I was up here during the weekend. I'm like, God, I don't remember. There's not a J in the entire fucking thing, but
right.
Is the DU J? I mean, I don't know. It's just messed up. But yeah, I'm sitting here. Got this is where I had my work computer set up, and I'm staring out at the lake right now. So if I appear to like doze off, I'm just gazing. That's all. So.
Enjoying the beauty of the world.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. It was raining for like the first 4 days off and on, but yeah, cleared up. I think on Wednesday is when I got the sunset, and the way I'm on the lake. I wasn't able to. I was up early enough, but I kind of peeked out, and there's no docks out right now, obviously because of the winter and stuff like that. So I don't know that I would have got much of a sunrise, so I didn't even try on that. But it was cool with the sunset, and there's a lighthouse and stuff like that just over there that I got pictures of when I came in. So it's nice. I mean, it's I've got a couple of rednecks that live next door, and so this is funny too. I get here on Saturday, I get all my shit in here, and I mean, I'm emptying my car. It literally looked like I was moving in because I mean, I got my table, I got my computers, I got my computer screens, I got all this shit. Fucking 6 trips I think I took to get in, everything in the house, and staying outside on the deck, and I was vaping a little bit, and I came back in, and I was trying to get the TV set up with my Chromecast, and I looked out, and these guys are out by the lake, just 2 of them. They started a fire, and I'm like, fuck, because I'm thinking, I just want to go outside and vape every once in a while, and I'd rather like, I don't know, I just want to sit there by myself. I don't
right, not looking to socialize. I
Now,
have enough friends. Thank you
yeah,
very much.
and that truly is. I'm like, I don't want to socialize with these fucking redneck motherfuckers, you know. So, and I'm not shitting you. They're dressed in. Well, first when I came in, they were working on a car, so typical redneck stuff. Working on a car.
Mm.
Although I've worked on cars before, so any rednecks out there, I'm just messing around. But
Uh-huh.
how about backwoods boys, if nothing else? I don't
Sure.
care. But so all said and done, it's like it's like 7 o'clock or something like that, and so they start lighting a fire out there. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's cold. It's like in the mid 30s, and the wind was kicking
Right.
up, and I'm like, it's kind of weird, but I'm not shitting you. They sat out there. They had a cooler.
Hmm.
And from 7 o'clock, and the last time I looked out there, it was like 11, and they were still out there. So for 4 fucking hours, it was fucking freezing.
Right.
But they literally just, and they didn't sit, they just stood and like stared out at the lake. It looked like the dudes from King of the Hill or something like that. Just two of them, but just staring out at the lake. And I'm like, okay, I
Uh-huh.
mean, nothing against hanging out on Saturday night and drinking some beer. I was all about that while I was drinking,
Sure.
but in the middle of March in Wisconsin when it's 30 fucking degrees and the wind chill's probably 20,
Hmm.
if not colder than that. I'm like, it just didn't, I don't know. I'd sit inside and drink, I think. But
Yeah.
anyhow,
Yeah. Well,
to each his own, as they say, right?
Absolutely.
So let's start off real quick before you do your reading. And we're obviously I'm in a different location, so different
Hmm.
internet setup. And I I don't want to tell on myself, but I'm going to. And then
Mm.
I'm telling on myself from a technology standpoint. Okay.
All right.
So we're going through all this crap. And remember when I kept saying, I'm like, this, it's fine with my work and I'm not getting any interruptions with my phone calls or anything like that.
Right.
I wasn't thinking, I'm sitting there questioning your cable, thinking maybe something's wrong with your
Hmm.
physical Ethernet cable.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about the fact my main cable, like the exact one that I bought for you and I
Hmm.
bought, that's
Right.
hooked up to my work computer when I'm at
Okay.
Kathy's. And
Yeah.
I had this other like 100-foot cable, this little
Uh-huh.
thin Ethernet cable hooked up to this. Because
Hmm.
why unplug and go behind the desk and do all that stuff?
Sure.
Didn't think about it till I was packing my shit up. I'm like, oh fuck it, it might be me. So I didn't want to tell on myself, but I'm like, fuck it, it's honest,
That's
right?
kind of what we were taught to do. We
I
have
know,
to tell on ourselves.
right? But so here's the thing: it could be the different location. That's one. It could be the cable,
Hmm.
but we
Right.
have
There
one.
are
We have
different factors. Right.
right. There's one more Friday next week. I'll be in Valpo. I'll have the cable and I'll have the Valpo internet. We'll see if it works. If it works, then we know for sure it was the fucking cable and it was me.
All right then.
So
Good.
yeah. So I know. Yeah. Although you
uh,
just kind of static. You just staticked out for a minute. So
did I? All right. Well,
yep.
maybe
Are you
it's
delaying now
me.
too? God, did.
Are we already?
Yeah. I don't know if it's delaying, but I hear static on your end. Just make sure your cables are like your mic and everything is all
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
tight
they
or
are.
whatever.
Everything's
Make sure
all
your cable's
tight.
tight there, buddy. Okay. Yeah, it was just yeah, now I'm getting static too as you were trying to mess with the cable, I'm guessing. But
Huh.
so there.
Well, maybe. Yeah, but that doesn't make any damn sense. Um.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not staticky anymore. You're good. You're good now.
Okay. All right.
So I think we're back. Fucking, whatever. Everyone's gotten used to this shit anyhow. So let's
Uh,
just let's just pop in. I've talked for 7 minutes and 14 seconds on fucking nonsense. So why don't we
okay.
get some? Let's roll some good thoughts around in our head and go from there. What do you say?
Sure. Why not?
And then you've got a story about your workday too, which we'll get into.
Oh, yes, I do. I do. All right. I actually had half a minute here, so I cracked it open and looked around a little bit and found this little gem, August 7th. Again, it's always as always. This is from God Grant Me, and it's August 7th, and it is here. Be willing to have it so. Acceptance of what has happened is the first step to overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. William James. I believe we've read a quote from him before. He was a philosopher and a psychiatrist. All right. We addicts are not known for being willing to accept the truth. For years, we pretended that there was no problem. Some of us, even in recovery, pretend that our problem was less than what it was. The Serenity Prayer asks us to accept the things we cannot change. We hear people say at meetings, I think I finally accepted the first step. Why so much talk about acceptance? The function of acceptance is energy conservation. We addicts waste a huge amount of time and energy struggling to make things happen that will never happen. In recovery, we work to practice acceptance because we need the energy to build a sober life. Prayer for the day. Higher power, today help me to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things that I can, and to have the wisdom to know the difference. Today's action, because this is a program of action. Today I will reflect on this question. What are the things I'm not willing to surrender over to my higher power? Then I will write out my answer.
All right. So I've heard that acceptance is key. Is that kind of the point of this reading?
Yes.
No, but I like that. I remember that reading, and I mean anything when it comes to acceptance, willingness,
Mhm.
openness, obviously honesty, is something that's a primary,
Right.
but yeah, the acceptance, the willingness, and the openness, to for all of this stuff, I think is hugely important. But
Uh-huh.
so let's begin with that last part. Is
Mhm.
there is there anything right now? Because I mean, we always talk about our will, and we talked about that. I love the fact of, to go back to what episode that was, a couple episodes ago, that reading about will versus willingness and that sort of thing.
Oh,
If
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's listening to this, just go back and read the descriptions. I've got it in the description. It was 2 or 3 episodes ago, so we're in 110. It might have been 107 or 108, something like that. But
Sounds about right.
Mike had a really good reading, and it talked about will versus willingness, will versus
Well,
willingness, and
actually,
then,
it was will versus self-will.
oh, self will. I'm sorry, and then willingness was part of that too. Correct or no?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all in there, but yeah, I mean, the reading itself was basically focused on will versus self-will.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I apologize, but that is in the description. If you guys haven't listened to it, go back to that. It might be halfway through, but listen to the whole episode because I'm not going to tell you where it was. So,
Right, because we don't know.
right, exactly. But so we've talked about it before, but is there anything that you think right now, that you, or maybe even along the way, that you've had trouble
Hmm.
surrendering, or being willing to surrender, or give up, or that sort of thing?
I mean, this time around, not really. I mean, there are some things, well, this self-centeredness and selfishness is always that's an ongoing things to let go of. I'm certainly better at it now than I was. But not really. I mean, I it's all about doing that first step 100%, which working the rest of the steps, if you don't do that first step 100%, is kind of a waste of time. Talk about
Right.
wasting time and resources and energy. Um so I mean, I did this time around almost 14 years ago. I did and do that first step 100% every day. So, yeah, there's really nothing that I'm like trying to hang on to and really trying to control myself. Not totally. I mean, there are things that I have to control, when I'm driving 80,000 pounds of steel and rubber and plastic down the road. There are things I have to control. I can't just go, you take it, Lord, or whatever the hell. And.
Lord, take the wheel.
That's right. Climb over in the other seat and see what happens, because I'm putting my trust in a power greater now. Yeah, clearly there are things that I have to control, but the big stuff, not really, man. I know I don't have control. I know my life is unmanageable. And I need other things to manage it. And the funny thing is, when I allow those things to manage it, the principles of this program, my life turns out pretty well, and I don't have it's freeing. I don't have
Right.
to control everything. So it's kind of nice. I have to
Right.
do things, but I don't have to control everything.
Right. Yeah, and like you said, there's certain things we have to control, and I had that was a struggle that I had to begin with when I first started looking for work. I mean, obviously, I had that factory job to begin with for a few weeks, but I was
Mm-hmm.
focusing sales jobs and things like that because in the collection industry literally it's a control type of atmosphere. It just is. Sales is
Mm-hmm.
too, controlling conversation, but I had this
Sure.
thing in my head where I'm like, I just don't know if I can get back into that atmosphere. But I mean, I learned, to separate that, and I've been in and around the collection business not my entire, sobriety time, but a good portion of it. And it is. It, it's a it's a it's a separation. It's a balance, I guess. I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't use my will in a bad way. I'm using it from a work sense. But from the
Sure.
surrender standpoint, I know to begin with when I first got sober, the thing that I wasn't surrendering to the simplicity of this program. I just thought about that when, as you were talking,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the whole, can it be that simple type of thing. But these days, I mean, I don't know if something isn't going my way, immediately I want to step back and because I recognize now when I'm trying to force things. So I guess I'm
Right.
surrendering in those situations because if I start to feel uncomfortable, like I'm starting to push things or force things, I stop and I step back and I guess I surrender. Right? That'd be a way to
Yeah.
explain.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giving up control, surrendering. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, still, because we talked about it endlessly that I'm still an egotist. I think more controlled. Speaking
Mm-hmm.
of control than I used to be, but it's hard sometimes. I mean, I don't want to give up. None of us want to give up control. Most alcoholics and addicts are controlling people. Strong-willed if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And that strong will,
Right.
can lead to control problems. But that goes back to there's a couple of other things I wrote down were, not willing to accept. And I think that just that in a general sense, not willing to accept anything, whether it be, and I don't even want to say defeat. That's a bad way to put it, but accept the fact
Mm-hmm.
of when we need to step aside, when we need to give up control, when we need to, just accept the situation as it is what it is. Which I used to hate
Uh-huh.
that saying, but now I like it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right.
But it is. It's funny how much I used to despise that. It is what it is because that's a true example of that saying in and of itself tells you don't have control. It is what it is. There's no wiggle
Right.
room. There's no nothing, and I know that's why I didn't like it. And it was easily. I was back in Wisconsin when I came to grips with that saying, so I was probably 4 to 5 years sober. Before I gave up that.
Right.
So I wasn't young in this thing at the time that I was still trying to hold on to control of it is what it is. But so the other thing that I wrote down was problem was less than what it was. So we talked about that a little bit a couple of weeks ago. But I mean that happened with both of us all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Problems we make things bigger than they actually are. And it's again that waste of energy, most problems are fairly small and most problems take care of themselves in the long run. We don't need to force and control and put our will into it and make it resolve itself. It's generally going to resolve itself. We have to be engaged and part of things, but um yeah, we're not I'm not all that much. I'm really not. I'm not all that powerful. I'm not all that important. I'm it's just, I'm doing my little thing and let everything else around me do its thing and it'll be fine.
Right. But that is true, and that was the other thing I wrote down. I wrote down waste time and energy, which is exactly what you were just talking about. Because, and I like the fact that and we've talked about it enough, but the fact that you just repeated that there are so many. it even may, I mean, that we may look at as problems. So many situations, so many things, so many items, or circumstances that will work themselves out on their own. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. But usually, even if we think it goes into the worst column, there's a reason for it at some point. We don't know what it is now, at least not right now. But I
Mm-hmm.
think more will be revealed, right? I think that's.
I've heard that somewhere. Yes, I think I read it somewhere.
Yeah, heard it, read it. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago too. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then the obviously I wrote down the not willing to surrender. But the other thing that I wrote down, the last thing was practice acceptance. So for anyone who is, let's say we got some people out there, hopefully that are listening to us that are new-ish.
Mm-hmm.
How would you explain to somebody that this is how you practice acceptance?
Well, because again, my first reaction is, I'm going to fix it, especially, as men, we're going to fix things. That's been a big part of, interpersonal relationships with people. I mean, when, you hear it all the time that Mars Venus crapola. But that
Oh yeah.
was something that I actually learned from that. That women don't want you to fix it, man. They just want to tell you about it and have you understand. As men, we want to jump in there, and as alcoholic men, we really want to jump in there and fix the problem. Um, and so, yeah, practicing the acceptance. Shit, yeah, that's a situation. Yes, it is. That's going on right now. Yes, it is. Hey, guess what? There's not a goddamn thing I can do about it except be here and lend support in any way that I can.
Right.
And yeah, practice. But again, yes, my first inclination is to jump in there and make it right. Whatever, but maybe my fucking version of right isn't right. I've got to remember that too. That's all part of this practice.
Right. Well, in the one thing that I've learned over the years, and people say it, to me it's kind of a cliche statement, but if there's anything I can help with, please let me know. And I always, if I say that to somebody, and I think I said it to you recently when you called me that one time,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yep.
recently when you called me, and I just said, I'll say this exact statement. I'm like, everyone says it, and I have no idea what I can do, but if I
Mm-hmm.
can help, please let me
Right.
know. And
Yeah.
I'm qualifying it with how ridiculous the statement is, but also understanding. I mean, but literally also understanding and let the person know that, hey, I know it's cliche, I know everyone says it, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean it. But I'm just recognizing the fact that I have no fucking idea what I can do. But if there is
Exactly.
anything, ask me. That's all.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. I'm here to help, even though there's not a goddamn thing I can do.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've
And that's it. That's practicing it and knowing your limitations. That's a huge part of it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, even with my kids, I mean, and my kids, obviously, your daughter's an adult. I mean, my kids are adults, and the only thing I ever tell them is, I'm like, I I don't know that I could ever help you. I always want to help you. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
whether it's money, whether it's a circumstance, whether it's a thing, whatever the deal is. You can always ask if I can help in any way, even in a small way. I will, but I don't have an opportunity to help you or to help you try to fix something. Back to fixing,
Mm-hmm.
but then offering help like that way. But if I don't know what's going on, I don't know that I can help. I don't know if
Right.
or if I can help. And I'll be honest with you, if I can't help, I'd be like, fuck man, I don't have a goddamn clue. I,
Uh-huh.
I had no idea. Like you said this many, many, many episodes ago. Sometimes all you can do is be that shoulder for somebody to lean their head on. That's all you do.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I think you said warm body. I think that came up
Yeah.
in the conversation.
Semi-warm body anyway.
Right. Yeah, you're a 57-year-old. You can still hold heat every once in a while, right?
Right.
But
Shoulders only slightly droopy, so yeah, they're still there though.
right. Yeah, there's an area, there's a bone under there that well, okay, let me not. I almost got into, and I wasn't even trying to. Look at what I did.
I
Look what I
know.
did.
Yeah.
There's a shoulder bone there. A shoulder bone. But
Bone.
What's funny is that when we were talking about the whole acceptance and not forcing things and stuff like that with the reading, and I made a
Hmm.
note to bring this up, and this was part of this was our episode clip from a year ago. 1 year ago this week was the when we talked about, remember Little Dicky that was supposed to be on.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
vaguely.
yeah, the dude that kept going back and forth and canceled on us like three
Hmm.
times, and finally we're like, you know
Hmm.
what, we're fucking done. And then
Yeah.
we didn't give his name, although we were promoting him for like 3 fucking weeks or three different time
Hmm.
frames, and then just kind of nicely nicely made fun of him through the entire episode. But
Yeah.
that that was that was a clip that we just had when it was like towards the end that both of us kind of came to the conclusion that given this keep continuing to giving this guy opportunities was we're trying to force something that just wasn't happening. So we just decided to.
Hmm.
There it was acceptance. We fucking gave up, and then
Yep.
then made fun of him for an entire half an episode, I think.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're still working on this thing.
Right, but I mean that was a lot of fun. It just in that whole thing. I don't know. I'm still glad that we took that stance because I think that, and this wasn't in the clip, but I remember us talking about that we probably have some sort of price that that we're willing to be give up our whatever dignity or integrity we have, but
Uh
that
huh.
wasn't it. So.
That was not it. There clearly weren't enough zeros involved in that.
Well, there was a big zero involved in
Yeah,
that,
that was
but
right.
it wasn't attached to any money. That's for goddamn sure. So,
Hmm.
but so anything else with the reading at all, or I think
No,
we
no, just I thought acceptance was a nice theme for me today. So there
yeah.
we go.
I mean, I like the reading, and I'm speaking of that though. Let's talk about how your day was, like your acceptance. Because what time did you text me? I don't remember what time you texted me.
I the first time I do not know. I'm sure. Oh, it's probably between 11 and 12, something
Oh
like
yeah,
that, real time.
yep,
Yeah, it was this morning.
gotcha.
Yeah, well, again, talk about controlling things and all that good stuff. Yeah, well, I'm coming to our sister Kathy's tomorrow for the Easter holiday, the Keister Day, Zombie Jesus Day. Um, and yeah, so I had a fairly light day today. Work wise, I was going to be done early. I had some plans to get some things done after work in preparation for this little trip since I'm not going to be home this weekend and whatever. Anyway, so yeah, things are going along. I've got 2 loads. I had to run an Amazon load, and then I had to go over to Pennsylvania and pick up a preloaded trailer, bring it back to Cleveland, and that was my day. So I did ran the little Amazon load, and I'm on the freeway. I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm probably half hour, 45 minutes away from where I needed to pick up this trailer, and the dashboard on the truck lit up, and yes, the warning signs, you need to shut this thing down now. And I went, oh crap. uh Actually, the same thing happened to the same truck about 4 or 5 months ago. It blew a coolant line, and so it didn't have any coolant in it. Well, it was blowing it out the bottom and all over the road, and yeah, so I eased it to the nearest exit and shut it down, and yeah, called roadside and had to wait for a tow truck for about 3 hours.
Oh my
And
God, really? Wow.
oh yeah, well, it took about an hour to get everything with roadside because I don't know what the hell was going on there. But yes, just powerlessness left and right, and then about 2 hours till the guy got there with the tow truck, and then hook it up and tow it 90 minutes back to the shop in Ohio, and yeah. Um, Basically, I didn't get back to Cleveland and to my car until almost 6:30 at night. I was planning, right. I was planning on being home about 1:32 in the afternoon. So yeah, that was my day. The truck is in the shop. I am here in one piece. I got my pizza, and doing a podcast. So apparently it's all okay. But Jesus Christ. Yes. It was a fun
Yeah.
day. Lots of fun moments.
Well, and that's a it's a great thing with the acceptance thing and all that stuff too. And I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew the back and forth, and I don't know when you said waiting that long. And when my car broke
Hmm.
down when I was up in Beaver Dam, I mean, it easily took. I spent probably an hour trying to get, to the point where they were sending somebody to me, and then another
Hmm.
half hour, 45. It was a from the time I broke down to the time I got back to that house, it was 5 hours.
Well, well,
But part of that was waiting for trying to catch an Uber for like an hour and a half in fucking
uh-huh.
Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. But yeah, I mean, again, I remember sitting on the side of the road then, and I took a picture of my car, and it was just kind of like I posted on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, life on life's terms, or I said some shit like that because
Hmm.
it's.
Some kind of shit like that.
I mean, it was some stupid, some cliche, sobriety saying because,
Uh-huh.
and it had helped me to post
Mm.
that because I'm like I had to tell myself that this is not a big deal, and I wasn't freaking out. I mean, I
Right.
thought I knew what the problem was. I thought it was going to be about $1,000 to fix, and I knew it was going to take a while to get all this shit out. The only thing I didn't know was the Uber, but
Hmm.
that's the only thing that was getting me. I wasn't even getting mad. I'm just like it would have taken me literally like 2.5 hours to walk back to that house from where I was, and I'm like I
Right.
don't want to do that. I don't want
Mm-mm.
to fucking do
No.
that. But yeah, I mean that's and I mean thankfully it sounds like with the company that you're with, you do
Mm.
not have too many equipment problems, right?
No. 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 I
Right.
mean, I'm in a 2023, basically brand new. I mean, when I went and picked this truck up in Toledo, it had 18 miles on it. It's now
Right.
got 68,000. Yeah, I mean, it's a new truck. They do maintenance, they take care of. Yeah, it's all good. Just shit happens occasionally,
Right.
and it just happened to happen today when I had things to do.
Yeah. Why couldn't it happen on a day when you had nothing to do and it would be you could
Yeah,
actually use a
right.
use a little bit of a break just sitting on the side of the road? I don't know, looking at
Yeah,
social media or some
absolutely.
stupid shit?
Right, well, which is what I did.
Right.
Um, right, and at one point, because where I pick up in Pennsylvania, it's a pet food place, and the loads are really heavy coming out of there. And when you cross the border from Pennsylvania to Ohio on the interstate, there's a weigh station there. So I always take back roads to get back, so I get to avoid the weigh station. And if I would have been on a back road when this happened, I mean, the roads I take, they're 2 lanes and there's no shoulder. So I
Oh
would have
wow.
been
Okay.
severely fucked. Yeah, right. If it would have happened, an hour and a half later. So, I mean, as I'm sitting there on an off ramp off the interstate going, well, at least I'm not sitting in the middle of the road in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it was better. So,
Right.
I was grateful for that. Yippee.
Right. Yeah. Isn't that kind of cool though? I mean, that you want to talk about freedom
Hmm.
because I've done the same thing in so many different circumstances. Nothing particular that I can think about at the top of my
Right.
head, but when shit goes, when you have that bad moment, thinking that well, it could be this, you
Uh-huh.
know, or it
Yes.
could be something else, and it always could, in the old
Right.
saying that no matter how bad you have it, somebody has it worse. And I get all that. It doesn't
Hmm.
always take away from or help, during our
Mm.
moment, but sometimes it helps a whole fucking lot realizing that
Yeah.
yeah, it could be a fuck ton worse. That's for damn sure.
Yep. Absolutely. So, it was not pleasant, but it was better than it could be. And I put myself in a slightly better frame of mind uh, by telling myself that. So, yeah, apparently some of this shit works.
Right. Yeah, and I can't believe it. I fucking Monday is April already. So I mean, we're like 2 3
Yep.
weeks away from our anniversaries. And it's not fronting. It's just
Hmm.
it's a fucking fact. And yeah,
Right.
I want to talk about coming out by you too because I just booked another couple of places after this. So I'm kind of booked through
Nice.
the end of well, I'll get to it in a few minutes. But so anything else on your day, or I mean, you got home and you got nothing done. I guess is the bottom line, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Thankfully, my lovely girlfriend Chris had the day off today, because she works for the big city government, and they they get days off that other people don't. So she had the
Right.
day off, and I sent her to Heinen's to get hot cross buns for us per
Oh,
mom's
nice.
instructions years ago. Yeah, you need to go to Heinen's and get hot cross buns because those are the good ones. So,
Yeah,
and I'm
that was,
still doing it.
and you know what? I tell you, that goes back to that has to go back to when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm positive it does. The hot, I mean, hot cross buns, that's part of the thing, but I don't
Sure.
know when Heiden's would have came into the mix, because I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, has Heiden's been around since the 70s? Do you know? I mean, how
Oh,
long they've been
I'm
around?
sure. Yeah, I'm sure they have. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know if I don't know. Maybe Gail bought them, from
Right.
Heiden's for years, and then Mom just carried it on. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is. It's yeah, the little things. That was the one. That was one of the most specific things, was they had to come from they had to come from
Right.
Heiden's.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
yeah,
And after she moved to Indiana, it was now my job to go to Heinz. And I hate that fucking store. God, do I hate that fucking store. Because it's high end, and the people in there are just entitled, pretentious assholes. And, and it's funny. I talked to Chris. She's never been in there, and she's like,
Oh,
"What the
really?
fuck, man?" She went with her daughter today. They went up there to get them for me. And I was like, yeah, fucked up vibe in there, huh? She's like, yeah, what the hell's wrong with that place? I was like, I don't know, but I have to go there once a year. And now I don't have to. It's going to be 2 years. It's beautiful. I don't have to go back till next Easter.
Nice. Yeah, and I don't know. I was actually gonna. I'm glad you explained it, because I was gonna ask you to explain Heinen's, and yeah, it's. I know I've only been in there a couple of times over the years, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100% agree. And then and I know every time you talk about it, I bring up in the Milwaukee area, and it's a locally owned grocery store, but it's called Sendix, and it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Higher end, more expensive. There's nothing
Yep.
special about that store, nothing at
No.
all.
No.
But I mean, when you walk into it, it's like the front of the store and stuff, where it's, I mean, everything in a grocery store is usually tiled. In
Right.
in this in that store, it's carpeted all in the front, where all the cash registers and stuff are. And I'm like, fucking really? Because there's one in Germantown, and when they opened that one up, I don't know, 7 years ago, I went
Mm-hmm.
in there, and I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking buy anything in here, because whatever it is, you're looking. I'm like, really? I went back. I just looked at the meat counter, because I'd get all my meat at like Pick and Save, which is a Kroger store now,
Right.
which has good meat. But I'm looking at their steaks, and they're $2-3 more a pound, and I mean, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
really? No,
Yeah.
there's nothing about this store, and I'm making motions with my hands like in round circles. This store that
Uh-huh.
impresses me. I mean, and yeah, you're right.
Right.
Fuck those people. But anyhow,
Yep.
except for Aunt Gail, because Aunt Gail used to go in there. She's one of the nice ones. So
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Of course, there's a few of them, but they're still pretentious and entitled. Yeah.
right,
Love-
right. All right. So on that note of pretentious and entitled, why don't we talk about some pretentious and entitled stuff that we have for on our website promo?
Well, why don't we do that? Let's take a break, and we will be back with more judgmental douchebaggery right after these words from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi
And
there.
yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So
Two?
we wanted two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website, that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. And Judgmental Bastards, I think, would be a good description for you and I, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think we just found the episode title, Judgmental Douchebaggery.
All right, so that makes your life a little bit easier. You don't have to sit there and try to think about it at the end. You just got to find a picture to go along with that.
I got to find a picture to go with that. I bet you I will.
I know.
I'll just find a picture of a Heinen's customer.
I should hashtag Heinen's in this episode, or on Instagram. It'd be kind of funny. Yeah, probably not. But I don't know. It'd be kind of fun. But so anyhow, just real quick here, and I mean, obviously, yes, our anniversaries are coming up, and I'm going to be out in Cleveland. I think I'm coming out.
Where are you staying?
You already invited me, you fuck.
I know.
So yeah, what am I doing here? So this God, I ended up getting a bunch of, well, not a bunch. I got a couple other things booked already, but so this week I'm back in Valpo from the 6th through the 20th. I'm in the Ozarks, and then Saturday the 20th is when I'm driving out by you, and then I'm going to stay that week, and then we got to get a hold of Michael, because obviously that next Saturday we should hit the casino and the buffet, and hopefully let's see if we have enough sense not to stuff ourselves to the points where we want to die.
Don't hold your breath.
Right. But then I just booked I wanted to go. I think I told you I was looking at a place down in Texas, down towards the Gulf.
Yeah.
So I booked that for May 4th through the 25th, and then the week of the 27th through the whatever it is, the 4th. I'm going halfway, so I don't have to drive 20 hours. And just this place, I think I mentioned, on the outskirts of Tennessee. So I got that booked through the end of May, and then I got one more place I might book on the way back, and then I'm looking at Wisconsin, and Founders Day is coming up after that. So little by little, but I mean, like I said, it's still a financial puzzle. I mean, I finished off my month, and I'm going to get a decent commission check my first month out. So I don't get it until second pay period in April, but yeah, right off the bat, I did really well, and things are clicking, but yeah, so for anyone who hasn't, been around us, or if you just started listening, we've gotten together. Well, I was out in Cleveland for the first, 3 years that I was sober, or we were sober, and then went back to Wisconsin. And one of the things, and I hate to say the word vowed, but I guess maybe we agreed or made a deal that we were always going to get together, for our anniversaries, regardless of where we were. And we have, except for 2 years, obviously pandemic years, but that was just, literally outside of, it was I think, wasn't that a worldwide pandemic thing? Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. Just about everything shut down. Yeah.
Yeah. And our anniversaries being in April, that was at the height of it. There was no fucking way that, and that was our fucking 10-year too. You remember that we were going to try to get all of our buddies togetger that were still sober, and, do that whole thing. But I don't know. Maybe we'll have to, if we can stay sober till 20, we'll have to do it at that. Maybe 15. Maybe we'll do 15.
Yeah. Right.
If.
Right. If
Yeah,
we got to
if
make
we
it to
all
14
live.
first.
I know. But yeah, so we always get together on our anniversaries, and this year, it falls kind of. I mean, we're literally almost a week and a half after mine, and then
Ooh.
obviously a five days after yours. But we always do it the first weekend after both of us hit. So mine's the 18th, his is the 22nd. And then a lot of times we don't do a lot, A couple of years ago, a handful of years ago, whenever it was, is when we went to the casino with Michael. So yeah, we're going to do
Right.
that again. And it's just there's two things that we plan, two sober events, outside of the retreat that we did. But Founders Day we do every year. Same deal
Mm-hmm.
applied to that for the most part,
Right.
except for pandemic years, and then our anniversary. So it's to me, and I know to you too, it's a lot of fucking fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, just a matter of it is something that we celebrate. We believe in, we believe time matters, and we're huge fans of anniversaries, especially our own.
Of course.
but but I mean still, I mean, I love watching people get anniversaries. I really fucking do. I mean, it's just nice.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. But yeah, I know Kathy already got. I think she already got our coin. She showed me yours, so I think that she'll probably. I'm
Uh-huh.
sure she'll give it to you in an envelope, while you're there, because you can't like front or anything. And oh shit, I'm gonna be gone for. I'm gonna be in the Ozarks for my anniversary, so I'll have to make sure
Mm.
that she gives me mine before I leave too, so I can open up that morning like a Christmas gift.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. That's the way I do mine too, man. It stays in the package until that morning.
Right. And you know what I thought about doing? I mean, I've talked about it before. I've got all my coins in a frame, but I mean, those frames I have sitting in basically it's in like a duffel bag in that room that I'm staying in at Kathy's house. And I looked at, I think I saved it as like a wish list item on Amazon, but I want to I think I might get a book, kind of like almost like a photo album for coins, because I thought that might be something
Mm-hmm.
that I can, like a coffee table book. Which I'm not gonna have it. I'm not gonna have it sit out at a coffee table. But I really want my coins with me all the time. But being in frames, one of the frames got broken. And so I still got to replace that. And I don't know. I just thought it'd make more sense to put it in a book.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, it's getting to be a couple of them, man. Yeah, need something to like put them all in. That makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And we are delaying a little bit, but I think it might be manageable. I don't think it's all the
Yes,
time,
we
but
are.
yeah, there was probably a 2 or 3 second. Yeah, there was like a 2 or 3 second delay there, I think. But I don't know. We'll push through and see what's what. So, um, one thing though, speaking of sobriety and anniversaries, I haven't had a drinking dream in shit. I can't even remember the last time, but I remember we were talking about it with somebody recently. But this week, Monday, Tuesday, something like that, I had a dream. And I'll put it this way, and that's the way I
Mm-hmm.
wrote it down, that I gave up my sobriety because in the dream, I didn't see myself drinking or anything like that. But for whatever reason, I have this vague memory in the dream that it had to do with pills, which is weird for me. But I was just sitting like in a room talking to somebody. I have no idea who it was, and all I could think was it was just knowing that I gave up. Obviously almost 14 years, and it was literally in my dream. I knew how much time I gave up, and then I woke up. But that was the weirdest one, because usually, for the most part of the drinking dreams, I've recognized what the physical act was, or that I did drink, or had a recollection that I drank something. But this was just knowing that I fucked up, but I didn't know exactly what I did. It was just weird, since I hadn't had one in a while. But
Mm-hmm.
I figured I'd share that.
Right. Well, about a week ago, I had a goddamn cocaine dream, and I don't even like cocaine. It was not my drug of choice, not by a long shot. But yeah, there it was. And, again, and with all of my using and drinking dreams, it's all pretty much about me trying to hide it. And yeah, it's never any fun. And then I wake up and I go, it's just a fucking dream. I'm still sober. Fuck you.
Right. Right. Well, and that's the thing now too, that sometimes when like these days when I wake up, even if I get what I consider to be a long enough period of sleep, I still I wake up and I'm always fucking tired. It just doesn't matter anymore. I'm always tired, and it takes me a minute to just have my brain click in to figure out. Oh yeah, that was just a fucking dream. And then like you said, then it's like, yeah, fuck you, man. It was just a fucking dream. But
Yep,
it was just like I said, it
exactly.
was it was weird because just I didn't know. Still, I couldn't pinpoint what happened. Just knowing I gave up the time, which was I don't know. Again, kind of fucked up, but it is what it is. It was a dream, like you say, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just your subconscious reminding you of what's possible, which is kind of okay because I need to be reminded of
Right.
what's
Yeah.
possible occasionally.
Well, and I wonder if it. And I don't remember the last time like I said, the last time I had one, but I wonder if it happens. Getting closer to an anniversary. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. But who knows? It happened, and it's all good. I didn't give up my time, so I'm good. Right.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. I mean, it may have something to do with coming up on, subconsciously, coming up on the anniversary. I mean, yeah, I get them. Shit. I was talking to somebody at a meeting the other day about it. Yeah. I get them 3, 4 times a year, and it's like pretty on schedule, and it's fine. It's we've talked about it before, man. I spent my entire life obsessed with substances. Why would that go away after just 14 years?
Right. Well, yeah, and I mean, being, going through, and I certainly rather have a dream, than forget why I do this shit. So I think if it, even if it's once or twice a year, I think I can deal with that versus the alternative, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we all have a dream, especially Martin Luther King.
Yeah, and we have a dream delay. So hopefully everyone obviously you hear this. I mean, it's 2 3 seconds, whatever it is, but I don't unless it gets really fucking bad where it's like super annoying. I don't see the reason to try to restart this thing. If we delay for a couple of seconds, it fucking is what it is because yeah, I don't know. It comes and goes, I guess, or at least it's coming and going from what I can tell, right? Because you could hear it too, right, Mike?
Oh yeah, and it's like it's actually getting a bit worse because you're like really cutting out quite a bit.
Yeah, and it delayed quite a bit too. So I don't know. I mean, it's again once again, now I'm on a whole new setup here. Um, God, I
Right.
just don't know. I mean, do you think it's bad? I mean, do you think it's bad enough for us to have to try to restart this, or you just want to push forward?
I mean, it's getting to be it's getting to be about 5, 6, 7 seconds, man. It's getting annoying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess once again, you guys won't know this is happening, but we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back instantaneously as far as you can tell. So, all right,
So there.
and just like that, it's magic. We're back. The beauty of fucking internet shit.
Yep.
I don't know what the hell, but
I
anyhow,
don't
you know
either.
what? Yep, we're not gonna spend even a second on that. So, on to the next topic.
On to the
Um.
next topic. What is the next topic, Bill?
I have one. So, you know what? And this is kind of fitting. When did you start accepting your mistakes as learning experiences rather than something bad? Not meaning that this is a mistake on either one of our parts, but
Right.
it's just something I wrote down and I don't remember why. But so once again, when did you start accepting your mistakes as learning experience rather than something bad? Yesterday.
Probably. Yeah. No, I mean, I was gonna say, I don't know, the 6 months to a year in there started. It certainly didn't happen right away, but it relatively speaking, fairly quickly. I would say it started to work that muscle about 6 months in, something like that. Yeah. Again, it for me. It all comes back to like ego, that I'm so fucking important that my mistakes are so earth shattering. Nobody gives a fuck,
Right.
and that's just it. I could make a mistake and go, well, that was dumb. I probably shouldn't do that again, and then look around me and go, wow, nobody even fucking noticed.
Yeah, like you said, we're not very important. We made the mistake or did messed up or did whatever, and yeah, nobody.
Mhm.
Not only nobody noticed, nobody would give a fuck anyhow, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Maybe point and laugh once in a while.
Right. Yeah, and I don't, I never know when or why I write these things down, but I learning experiences. I mean, I was, I don't know, I think we're told that all our lives, learn from your mistakes and those sort
Right.
of things. And, a mistake is a learning experience. Whereas, what do they say? Mistakes, if you do the same thing twice or make the same mistake twice, then it's just, it's on purpose, or it's, you haven't made that correction or that conscious effort to
Yeah,
try to be
it's
better.
bad
Um,
behavior.
yeah, exactly. But I would say, that's probably a good time frame because I really didn't think about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I still had a lot of the, why the fuck me type of thing if things didn't
Mhm.
go right, for that first, at least for the first 3 to 6 months, and
Right.
maybe even that first year, when because I mean we're still and I say you in the collective,
Mhm.
we and us. I mean, you're still trying to get your legs under you for that first year, at
Yeah.
least that first 2 or 3 years. I mean, or maybe the 13th or up to the
Yeah.
14th year.
Yes. Speaking of that 15th year, maybe maybe something will happen. We'll
Yeah,
see.
right. Yeah, getting into our 15th year, we'll have all our shit in line and all that sort of stuff, right?
Right. We could hope, but
Right, right.
yeah, hope in one hand and shit in the other.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's just that it was an interesting thought because it's even to this day. I mean, if I make a mistake, there's still that point to me that's like motherfucker, when you did do something, but it could
Mhm.
be something simple. It could be something. Thankfully I don't remember any like huge big mistakes that I've made in recent years. Like
Right.
big mistakes.
Mhm.
But even smallish ones, you're looking like fuck. And usually I think I look back and I try to figure out why did I make that mistake? What could I have done differently up to that point? Which. That's that learning experience, figuring that okay, I got to take my time. I didn't do this. I didn't read the directions.
Right.
you know and my cake turned out like shit, or whatever it was. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, it's
basically, yeah, which principles weren't I practicing to get to me to the point where I was fucking something up? Right.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, but it goes back to, kind of what the reading was, the acceptance part and trying to push things. And like when I was booking all or getting all these like these most recent trips that I was trying to book, I was
Uh-huh.
originally like I've been eyeballing the place in Texas for, I don't know, probably a month, if not longer than that. And like
Mhm.
I said, I mean, I've found a way to be able to kind of, do a side finance thing on this where I could pay this stuff off and, not have to throw the money up front.
Right.
But I was really trying. I almost was trying to push it, like a month ago, because I paid this one thing off, figuring I'd had the room to do this and that, and I didn't. But I did. I put myself into a position where, I mean, my money was really fucking tight for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, fuck me, because
Right.
it wasn't a bad thing that I did, and I just did it at the wrong time,
Mhm.
and I wasn't patient, and
Mm.
with this one. I knew I'd be able to book the Texas trip is the bigger, obviously the more expensive one. The week trip that I want, one I knew I was going to have to pay for. That's fine. I budgeted for that. But then the other one coming back, because again, I don't want to drive 20 hours someplace.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to look at like Branson, Missouri area, and that's one that I could do a finance thing. But now I think I've got too much financed on there, so that it won't fit. And first thing I'm like, oh, can I just go away? I could just pay for it. This I'm like, nope, you did the same thing a couple of weeks ago. I'm like,
Right.
fuck it. I've got
Ah,
literally, I don't need to book that place. I don't need a place to stay until the end of May. so I got time. So I'm like,
Right.
fuck it, wait till my next pay period or the pay period after that. If it's not there, I'll find something else. It's not the only fucking Airbnb out there. It'd be nice, it's
Uh-huh.
affordable and it's in a decent location and whatever,
Yeah.
but same deal.
Right.
It's
And you never know. You might find something better. And
correct. Yeah.
so
Yep.
you did learn from your mistake. You
I did.
stopped yourself and you went, I can't do this again.
Yeah, and because literally, I mean, I have the money where I could have done it, but it would have strapped me again for 2 weeks, and I'm like, I don't. Two things. I don't need to do that, and plus, I mean, in a week I'm driving down to the Ozarks. I mean, it'd be nice to have a little bit of, literally. I mean, I can always have credit cards and things like that,
Yeah.
but not always. But you know what I mean.
Right.
Rather have this little, just keep this money over here. It's good. I don't need to blow it all right now.
Uh-huh.
you know, even though my mindset right now, I mean, technically, once I get all this stuff rolling, is that I'm going to make it. I'm going to do things with it and all that stuff. And I have that mindset. I'm not going to spend all the money in my life every
hmm
week, but so yeah, I think I learned from my mistake. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Sounds like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll co-sign that bullshit.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. So, and that goes on to the next one. And I have an example about this one, but I want your opinion on it first. So we always talk about trusting the process, which
Yep.
you and I know what it means, but maybe other folks out there don't. But I do have an example, a personal example in my life, to kind of add to the conversation. But so to begin with, what does trust the process mean to us?
Right. Well, this set of rules that people set up work, and even when I can't see that they will work anyway. Yeah, trust the process. I mean, it's funny. I use it uh, th- for my job. I drive into a rail yard, and through the app, it gives me the general location of the trailer I'm looking for. And yeah, 95% of the time, it's basically where it should be. Occasionally, once in a while, it's not, which is fine. But yeah, I'll be like driving in and going past a bunch of other spots because where I'm supposed to go is like towards the back, and I'll be like looking around and looking at all the trailers and looking to see where the one is that I'm at, and I will stop myself and go, trust the process, and stop looking around and stop trying to control everything and drive around to the back where it's supposed to be. And yeah, like I said, that more than 9 times out of 10, it's where it's supposed to be. And I trust the process, and the process works.
Right. Well, it's just the reason I was laughing to begin with, just the way you started off, you're like, where's these set of rules? which it is. It's just, I don't know why that, what I, kind of caught me in as funny, but it
Mm,
is. It's these rules. Some of them are written, some of them are unwritten, for us,
hmm
but we've got a set of, principles and rules
Right.
and
There's these
just
parameters set up by people that know more than us, and we need to trust it.
right. Yeah, and trusting the process also. The only thing I'll add to it is that, like you said before, that usually, again, probably 95% of the time, things will work out. A lot of
hmm
times, not only as we expected, but sometimes better than we expected,
Yep.
if we're patient, going back to acceptance, and of course, trusting the process.
Yep.
So, and yeah, it's kind of funny that you had a work situation. That's where mine comes in, and I say it almost every single day because, just as I don't know, a quick step back with the debt collection business. In most collection agencies use an automated dialer. Call centers use it.
hmm
Any company or business that has to make a volume of phone calls, the
Right.
most efficient way is to use an auto dialer.
hmm
It's been around for years.
Right.
So in the type of collections that I've been in the past, it's been mainly consumer based, a lot of medical business. So average balances probably between 250 to 300. There's larger balances in there, but the majority of them in that $200-300 range.
hmm
And all these balances, unless you get to bigger agencies with bigger balances, they should be on a dialer because that's the only way as a collector that you're going to make any money is through the volume. That's the way it is.
Right.
So with this company that I'm with, it's kind of the other way around. However, our clients, which are insurance companies, because we're collecting on business insurance policies, so we're collecting from businesses for their, unpaid insurance policies, premiums, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And the things that go on the dialer are balances from $1,000 and under, which is fine on the consumer side of things. That covers 75% of your business, where in this case it's a small percentage, but the business still has to be worked. So for usually anywhere between 5 to 6 hours a day, we're on a dialer system. We could still work manual business in the morning. We could still work other stuff, but we're working these smaller account balances on the dialer. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, outside of the dialer, and even though the lower level, level one right now, the balances of my accounts are anywhere between $1,000 to $2,500. Okay. So I can make more money theoretically if I collect, two, three of those rather than, spending X number of hours on the dialer and just spinning through that stuff.
Sure.
But you can get inbound calls. It happens every once in a while. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. But the other thing is that I've always loved the dialer system. Anytime I've worked on one, I don't like this because I feel it's fumbly based on the type of business we have. Plus, I think it takes away from my ability to collect the bigger balances and earn the kind of money I want to. Okay, but
Right.
I do trust the company. I 100% trust our manager. So I literally on a daily basis, I'm like, I hate this fucking dialer. I fucking hate it. I hate spending time on here. I'm doing this. I want to call on this. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I'm like, I step back and I'm like, trust the process,
Right.
because the other thing that I need to do is I could be wrong, but I think once I go from this level one to level two, which he's talking about moving me up, I don't think I have to work on the dialer. If I do, it's not going to be as much. So I need to play by those. That's why I was laughing. Play by
The
those sets of
rules.
rules.
Yep.
and you know what? All said and done, I had a goal that I didn't almost, yeah, almost doubled. My goal this month was 6 grand. Then I ended up with almost 11,000, and so did
Nice.
the other guy. The other guy that I started with, he and I are like
Mhm.
neck and neck. He's a few $100 ahead of me,
Mhm.
and this is in fee. Total dollars collected, it's like 60 some $1,000 that I
Yeah.
collected. Same thing with the other
Yeah.
guy,
Right.
and I end up with a commission check that's going to be pretty darn close to a 2 week paycheck for me. Okay.
Right.
And that's
Nice.
my first month out, working these smaller balances, working this dialer shit and trusting the process. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's a struggle. I'm telling you, it's a fucking struggle because what I think to myself every once in a while, I'm like, well, if I were the manager,
Mhm.
and I want to say I would make this suggestion, that, but then I'm like, no, because I've got to look at, and I hate the term sometimes, the bigger picture. And I know what our
Mhm.
manager is looking at, what the company has to look at.
Sure.
These companies we deal with, they're giving us millions of dollars worth of business, but they
Right.
they expect all of it to be worked, all
Mhm.
of it,
Yeah.
even the
Right.
small shit.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but
Right.
yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, right. It's the shit needs for me, the shit needs to be moved from here to there. And if from here to there is a couple of miles or a couple of 100 miles, I still need to move the shit from here to there because that's what they need to be done. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm a piece of the bigger puzzle, and I need to make sure my piece fits and it is complete and works. And yes, they're counting on that piece of puzzle to be there to make the whole thing work. So,
Right.
right, exactly.
Well, and for you too. I mean, you're paid by what and how long you drive, right? Not what you haul, how many miles you drive and all that stuff, right? That's how your pay is kind of broken down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm paid per mile and I'm also paid per load. So, yeah, I mean, if I do, 5 loads a day and I drive 300 miles, I do pretty damn good. Sometimes I'll do 200 miles and 6 loads, but it balances out. So, yeah, right. It's, again, getting paid about the same no matter what. Just tell me what to do and I'll go do it.
Right. And that's the other thing too, is because I'm trying to I am looking at the bigger picture also from, from a selfish standpoint, is that, he's happy with what I'm doing. He's happy with with what the other guy is doing, that started with me. I don't know that if he's offered the other guy the idea of being moved up to the next level, but he's
All
already
right.
offered it to me and mentioned it to
Yeah.
me. And I just need to, that's why I don't want to take any days off. I don't want to fuck around. I don't want to fuck
Mm-hmm.
off or anything like that. And like I said, I still made a decent amount of money in commission. So, I mean, I've got nothing to complain about, but I have to tell myself every damn day, trust the
Mm-hmm.
process.
Exactly. Right.
you know, it's hard.
It is. Yeah. Because, we're fucking drunks and junkies and we got it all figured out.
and and that's a funny thing, and I don't necessarily think I have it all figured out, but I just want it different sometimes, and
Sure.
that's the problem. I'm like, well, if, and that's why I get these things in my head. Well, if I were, but I'm like, when I interview, not only here but other places, and I've been good at this since I've been sober. Imagine that. But I don't I don't go into a place, even though I've got years of fucking experience in the
Mm-hmm.
collection industry. I mean, a lot,
Right.
but not doing this, not doing this type of business. I mean, I understand the process and everything like that, but not what this is,
Sure.
and this is so much more opportunity than I could have ever had any other place, as certainly as a collector, without the stress and hassle, of managing people. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Like I said, it's difficult, but yeah, I don't know everything. I just, in my head, I'm like, God, I wish if it were just this way. you know, and I'm fucking competitive too, because the guy that started with me, he's a good dude. I like him, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this motherfucker jumped ahead of me, and I'll be ahead of him, and then he jumps ahead of me. But I mean, we're so close, and but
Yeah,
I'm like, I want good things to happen for him, but I want to win, because I'm fucking competitive.
that's right.
Yeah, but I don't let it come out. I'm not a dick. I'm not openly a dick. Let's put it that way.
Right. Which is all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, it doesn't matter what's between these ears of ours. It's what comes out of our fucking pie hole, right?
That's right.
So another one, and I know we talked about the promises a couple episodes ago, but
Mm-hmm.
the one that kind of jumped out at me, and I don't remember when I wrote this down, if it was while we were talking about it or afterwards, but so we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. Once again, I'm thinking about these little sayings that we talk about all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. Again, if there's somebody out there that either maybe it's not 12-step based, is new, or they hear these things and they're like, people don't ask because some people just don't ask questions, because they figure it's a
Mm-hmm.
silly question. So,
Mm.
so what? Let's go with that same thing. What does that mean to you? Will not regret, we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. So, what are your thoughts on that? What does it mean in general, and what does it mean to you?
Right. Well, again, we've talked about this before too, but all those shitty things that we did and all the mistakes that we've made and the rotten people that we were, come to have value because we can use these things to help somebody else, to show them that, we've been there, that we're all pretty much the same. We've all made the same mistakes and it's okay because we've moved on from them. So yeah, I don't regret the past. I don't, I'm not proud of the things I did, but I don't regret them because I take them and I turn them around and I make them worthwhile to help someone else. So they do have worth, and I don't want to shut the door on the past because I've got to remember those things and I've got to remember what I'm capable of. And so that I don't do that shit again. Um, right. So yeah, again, it comes, I mean, for me, it comes, that promise comes from taking the bad things that we did and making them worthwhile by using them to help the next person. That's what
Right.
that means to me. So yeah, yes, I was an awful person. Yes, if I really think about it, I was, I should be ashamed and regret and want to slam the door on that and never think about it again. But if I do that, then I can't help the next guy who's struggling with the exact same things that I was doing, and I can't use that stuff to help the next person. So, and again, I've got to remember what I'm fucking capable of so that I don't do it anymore.
Right. And that's usually I would say the key thing that I always think about is, that I need to remember. I want to, and I need to remember what I'm capable of. And you said that, I don't know, since you and I've known each other
Mm-hmm.
probably hundreds of times, and I think it's a great way to put it, because it's not just what we've done, it's what we're capable of doing, which means
Mm-hmm.
present tense.
Yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely.
I mean that those people, those people that you and I were,
Mm.
they're still there.
Oh, yeah.
those those two motherfuckers are still also, those two guys are hanging out with all you guys out there too. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
we're in a new uniform these days, and
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
do some work and some readings, and we do some steps, and do this work every day, quote unquote. No, it is work every day.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that those guys don't come back out. But and it
Right.
does, it every once in a while I've heard, and it's been in meetings, it's been in podcasts, it's been all over the place. I'll hear people say that I don't want to remember that person I was. That person I wasn't anything I want to think about these days. And it
Mm.
it almost it makes me nervous. Hey, to each his
Mm.
own. If you're cool with that and you're fine with that, but I don't understand it. Because to your exact point, we, number one is that we can take these things, we can tell these stories, to people, our stories of and our tales of woe, to two
Whoa.
things. Whoa. to to qualify, sometimes to let people know that, hey, we've been there.
Mm-hmm.
But also to relate to people, that's important. But on
Right.
top of that too is to say that, what, kind of like I'm not the greatest thing since sliced bread, and neither are you. But hey,
Nope.
look at us now. But these are the stories. We were there too. We did these
Mm-hmm.
things, but here's this path that we followed, and here's where we are now. We're not great. We're not wonderful. We're not less than. We're not better than.
Mm.
But we're sure as fuck better than. You
Mm.
know,
We were. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And and look at me. I'm shiny and I'm happy now.
Shiny happy people. Isn't that a song?
That's
Shiny happy
it
people.
is. Yes, it is.
Holding hands. So is
I
that
do. Go
who
ahead.
sings that? No.
REM.
Oh, I was gonna say, God damn, why can't I think of who sings it? Okay, so what do you think of REM, since we brought up a band?
I don't.
That's kind of what I figured. The only
I
the only
don't
time that
dwell
I
on that past.
I think the only time that you and I connected on an REM song was the one time when you were going over to John and
Mm.
Gale's. You couldn't remember the road to turn on, and I said, "What's the frequency?" And you're like, "Oh, that's right, Kenneth."
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did use an REM lyric to direct you to their house the one time. I remember that, but but yeah, I don't know. I thought it was important to bring that up because, like I
Hmm.
said, we talk about all these things and we say these things, and I know that we talk about all of these different items in a general sense. I just don't know that we sometimes focus on them. So I figure it never
Right.
hurts to, kind of, as
And
they say.
I just thought about, I mean, that is one of the promises that we get, that we won't regret, and we won't want to close the door on it. And I don't know if somebody is, they want to shut out their past, and they do truly regret the things that they did. um they're missing something, because that promise isn't coming true for them, that they missed something along the way. Again,
Right.
I'm not proud of, I never want to be that person again, but i don't I don't regret being what I was before, because I use it to help the next guy. So, maybe you're not helping the next guy. Maybe you haven't resolved those things. Maybe you haven't worked that ninth step enough to make amends and make things better to those people that you hurt before, that you want to shut all that off, and you still regret those things. You're missing something. So I'm sorry for you.
Right. Well, and to put it in different terms that are even in non-AA terms, usually, if that causes people pain to look back on that, people haven't healed. That's a big buzzword these days. Healing
Right.
from past trauma, and we don't look at it as
Hmm.
necessarily as and identify it with the word trauma, but if you want to put it in different words, that's what we're talking about. Deal with your shit,
Yeah.
deal with it, get
Right.
over it, accept it, and then use it to, to your advantage, to the point of helping somebody else with it.
Yep.
Use all that. Same thing. If whatever job you're in, the day you started your job, you had no fucking idea what you were doing. Now
Right.
you know what you're doing, hopefully, you know,
Uh-huh. Hmm.
and maybe you're doing it, if nothing else, competently, and you probably showed somebody at some point along the way,
Hmm.
a thing or two.
Right.
It's the same thing, it's the
Yep.
same thing that you're doing in life on a daily basis. You're just doing it with with your drunk ass shit, or your, drug induced shit that you did years ago. You could use it
Absolutely.
now to help the new guy or help the next guy,
Yeah, and
right?
and I hate to break it to you, but it's circular. If you're still hurting, but you're still using it to help someone else with that pain that you had, that's how that pain heals. That's how you get to that point. You're using it for a good thing, and so that bad thing becomes better. Does
Right.
that make sense?
I I I think it does. It makes perfect sense. Makes
Good.
absolute 100% perfect sense. So yeah. So I don't know if it is something that you're struggling with. You as the general listener out there, just take a closer look at it, because it should not be a bad thing, regardless of what type of recovery program you follow. Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's a organized,
Hmm.
12-step or not, those things not only can, but they do have worth. And I know Mike
Yes.
said it plenty of times with having worth, and I agree with that.
Absolutely. And you know what? This has reminded me of something. Talked about it with you before, and I've mentioned it a few times on here. There's a podcast that I listen to that is an outgrowth from a radio show that I used to listen to. So I've been listening to a couple of these guys for like close to 30 years. Um, and one of the principles on this show, this is definitely not a recovery show. This is definitely not. It's humor based, and it's an outgrowth of a wacky morning zoo from a long time ago. Shock jocks, whatever, and they've certainly evolved. And they're the main guy is like 64 years old now, and it's a very different thing. But anyway, the principal on the show 2 years ago um, had his liver was fucking shutting down because he drank all the time.
Hmm.
He refers to himself as an alcoholic, but kind of jokingly. Anyway, he had his 2 year sober anniversary like last week before, something like
Nice.
that. Right. Very cool. But he is not in the program. He whatever. I mentioned that he refers to himself kind of jokingly as an alcoholic, and he refers to himself as in recovery jokingly. Um, but he's not working a program the way we work programs, not 12-step guy. Um,
Right.
but it's funny. We talk about the different paths, yet the similarities, working towards the same thing in the same way. And when he had his 2 year thing, they gave him like the opening of the show to talk about it. And it's funny, man. So many times we'll hear people talk about recovery and the solution and how to do this stuff and whatever. And, the big book tells us, it's one of my absolute favorite lines, the root of our troubles is selfishness and self-centeredness. That is the root of our problem. And this guy was talking for whatever 15, 20 minutes, talking about his journey over the past couple of years, and he said selfish so many times. I mean, he must have said it probably 2 dozen times over the course of this, and I'm just sitting there going, fuck, man, he's not really one of us. He really doesn't work the way we work it, but he fucking got it, man. He's
Right.
talking about the way he was, and he just kept going back to, I was selfish. I was selfish. That's why I did this. I was selfish. That's why I did that. I was selfish. And I'm just going, fuck, man. Yes, he's not working a program, but goddamn, did he get it? So I thought that was just really cool, and I wanted to share that.
Yeah, I mean that is in, who did we have? Nico, when we had Nico on. Not a 12-step
Exactly.
guy. We've had a couple other people on, that were not necessarily 12-step people, or just dipped, like one little toe in it years ago.
Hmm.
But same thing, those people get it. Christine was probably a great example of that. I mean, she's got
Right.
the same, a little bit under, she's about 11 months, maybe 9 months behind us, I think, in
Uh-huh.
time. And hit the AA thing to begin with. Her dad, I think, if I remember, is in AA,
Yeah.
so she gets the program, she understands it all, but has done a whole different type of recovery.
Right.
But she lives along the same principles, even though she doesn't live along the same principles,
Right.
and inadvertently Nico did the same thing. He's got
Right.
everything he's doing everything we're doing, just he calls it something else,
Right.
which is
Exactly.
fucking amazing, you
Yeah,
know?
it is. Yeah. So, the solution is the same, even if you use different terms and a different process, but it is still a process. And as long as you trust in it and work it, you get the same fucking results. And it's pretty damn cool.
Right. And I'm telling you, I mean, every time that you and I, kind of talk about this a little bit, and I don't know that either one of us would have necessarily admitted this even a year ago, let alone, when we first started this. But
Mm,
because I know that I didn't know about half of this shit that's out there, as
right.
far as things and ways, to be in recovery, or alcohol free, or the gray area, the things that we even laugh at, kind of
Mm,
joke about at times, but still the people are doing their thing, and it's this podcast in general. I mean, granted, we've heard and been told it helps other people, but I think that's just an example of helping us. It's widened my mind out.
absolutely.
I'm not going to do anything different than what we're doing, but
Mm-mm.
I have a whole lot of, not even just a whole different respect. I've got a whole different, like, I don't know, knowledge base of what's out there, which I now respect because now I know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like hearing about things going, this person doesn't, they're doing this over here, whatever. No, we've talked to, we've
Right.
met,
Mm-hmm.
we've, some of these people we've actually, probably spent time with, at maybe even these retreats. Not everyone, I don't think, was AA based at the retreats. I
Right.
mean, maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but I mean, even though it's a 12-step retreat, I don't think it wasn't a requirement that I didn't show my AA card. Did you, when we
No,
walked
I,
in? I
I
mean,
did not.
you
I
know,
kept it in my pocket.
yeah, right. Yeah. Nobody said, "Hey, did you bring your AA passport?
Right.
Your all-encompassing AA card." Nope, didn't bring it. But I don't know. I think it's cool. There's been a lot of we've said it before. This podcast is a lot of fun, for us, and we do this because it helps us, but and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's just been, there's so many other, I don't know, spiderweb side note things and
Absolutely.
side benefits that this thing has brought. That's been nice. So
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's certainly open, you know, um, yeah, it's opened my mind to different paths that still work, and it's great. Yeah, like you said, we're not going to change because it's working for us. Why the hell would we? But I certainly am open, far more open than I was a couple of years ago to the processes of others, which is
right,
nice. Yeah,
yeah.
do your
Our
thing,
our
man.
band. our bandwagon's opened up a little bit more, and we're inviting more people to hang out with us now.
Yeah.
All right, so this one, okay, I'm just going to read this, and I want to, I'm just going to read it. Okay, ready?
Yep.
I don't remember where I got this from. It's a Persian proverb. All right,
All right.
whatever is in the heart will come up to the tongue.
Ah, that was fairly recently. That was from one of the readings.
I know, but I couldn't stop laughing like a fucking 13-year-old boy when I read it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this down on my list because I just want to say it out loud because and see if it still makes me laugh, and it did, and it did. Whatever is in the heart will come up to the tongue. I get it. I understand it completely.
Hmm.
And that the first thing I thought about when I read that was what my first sponsor Bill said to me
Hmm.
when I was coming up on my 1 year anniversary, and when I was going to do my lead, which was 1 month and 4 days after my anniversary, or no, 1 month and 1 day after my anniversary. Um, and we were talking about, and he goes, whatever's in your heart, will come out of your mouth and will hit the right people. That's
Right.
it. And he said the exact thing, just in different words.
Right.
But Yeah, it's a great saying, but I couldn't help but, my piggish mind popped up too. So
Right. Well, and as well it should, whatever's in your pants should come out your tongue too.
yeah, that's what it said, didn't it? What it
Don't be
was, oh, heart,
selfish.
heart. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Guys,
But
don't
no,
be
I mean it's
selfish. Use your tongue too.
right. Yeah, popular with the ladies.
That's right.
But yeah, and I didn't even write down what reading it was in, but I knew it was in one. But yeah, it again made me giggle a little bit. But I figured I'd bring that up because I liked it anyhow. So I'm gonna try to find one last little one here, just to see. Oh, here's another heart one.
Mm.
This is from God Grant Me. I didn't read this. I just saw the word heart in it. From God Grant Me, for today I will work at stepping into the day with all of my heart.
Mm.
Do you feel like you go into every day with all of your heart? That's my question. The reading was, for today I will work at stepping into the day with all my heart. So, do
Mm-hmm.
you think that you enter each day with all of your heart?
Nope. Not at all.
I was I was laughing because I knew what your answer was going to be.
Right.
Um,
No, I don't. But again, compared to 14 years ago, I step into the day with much more of my heart than I did then. Yeah, I don't dread the day. I actually go into the day. Started today. I was raring to go because I was going to get this shit over with and start my weekend and get it all going good. But yeah, it's definitely it's a process, and I'm working along. No, not my entire heart. There are days where I go, ah, fuck, I got to get up and do this again. Um, and sometimes even days off, it's like, ah, shit, I got to get up and go do whatever. And
right.
I don't want to with my entire heart, but you know what? I get up off my ass and I go out and I do what I need to do. And at the end of the day, I go, well, fuck, I really didn't want to do that, but I'm glad I did.
Right. Well, and the first thing I thought about when I read that when I wrote it down, I forgot until I just read it again. But was it I knew your answer was going to be no. That's number one, because that was my answer too, and I think I know you well enough. But then
Mm-hmm.
the other thing was I thought. Honestly, I thought you would say no, but I take the action and do it anyhow.
Yeah, well, I got there. I just used more words.
Right, right. But that's exactly what I thought about because once again, and this doesn't happen every morning, but I mean, I've said it before, and you have too. I get up, I'm fucking tired,
Mm.
I'm sore, I stretch, and I'm like, fuck me, or the
Mm-hmm.
alarm goes off, and I'm cloudy to the point where I'm like, what the fuck, man? And then I'm like, ah, fuck me, and it doesn't mean that I don't. Again, it could be a day off. It could be a work day.
Mm.
I'm happy with my job. It's
Sure.
it's given me the I don't know. It's again the competitiveness, everything, the chance to make money, and it's
Right.
it's fueling it's fueling everything that I want to do. So I enjoy every part of it, but still I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
I don't want to get
Right.
up. You know.
Yeah. I know. I'm, I'm tired, man. I'm old. Fuck.
I'm tired.
Right. Aren't you people
Yeah.
supposed to take care of the elderly? God damn it.
Right.
Isn't it my
Right.
turn? Oh, wait. No, that's right. I fucking lived for 40 years like that. I guess I better get my ass up and do something.
Yeah, we still gotta get back. So last thing here, real quick, and I think I'm looking at the time. I mean, I think we've talked about the same amount of time as what we got fucked up into the beginning.
Yep.
But so God, it was so nice. We had Ollie's birthday party. I'm sorry, they
Mm.
had Ollie's birthday party last week, and it was nice, just kind of laid back thing at this little play area. So it was cool. Again, very laid back. He was very into his friends. He wanted nothing to do with me or anyone else, which is how it should be. Until the end, everyone left. Then he grabbed my hand
Mm.
and took me into the play area so I could watch him go down a slide. It was pretty fun,
Nice.
And then. But I didn't take offense to it. I know he was there playing with his friends, and usually he does. I mean, for whatever reason, the kid adores me, and he's got my heart, But then they all came over on Monday, and we had dinner. And I just went up to Pick and Save and got these marinated chicken breasts and made that. We just hung out for a little while. It was just nice, It was just nice hanging out with the kids, and Kimmy and Ollie were trying to. She was going to try to bring him down on Saturday, but he didn't like go down for a nap until late, so that didn't end up happening. But still, I mean, I got to see him on Sunday because Derek came up there too, and then got to hang out on Monday, and it was just again, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting there and I'm just hanging out with my kids, and I don't know. I mean, it's one thing, it's not that I haven't seen my kids since I've been down in Indiana, but not as much, obviously, as when I was up
Right.
here. And I don't know. It just we always talk about that. I'm such a huge proponent of quality time. And I know that sounds cliche in some ways, but I love my kids. I got a great relationship with them. Even if I don't get to hang out with them all the time, having those. It's moments, we collect moments these days, and I don't know. It was really fucking nice, and I wanted to share that. So there.
Well,
Did I lose you?
if we've learned anything, it's these fucking cliches actually have meaning, so that's okay.
Right. And that was really fucking weird. And I think this is a really good time to end because I literally thought that you were gone. That was like 7 or 8 seconds, I think, on that delay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna let you run out of here, and then run us out of here.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody you did it. And guess what? It's time. It's time. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
You got nice and calm there at the end, which was kind of fun and new and exciting. And just in case we're still on a delay, all I'm going to say is that you know what? Yes, everything that Mike said. Thank you for listening, Mike. I love you, brother. I know I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll say my goodbyes now. Goodbye.
I love you too, brother. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.